it's live, but it's not live. Yo, Sniper, how you doing, brother? As long as you guys can see me, we're good. Yeah.
We rock the body, rock the body, the body.
Hey guys, good. Welcome back. We're about to get into the charts here. Lots going on. Lots going on without us. Market's been ripping and dumping all at the same time. Lots of things to look at. But crypto straight, if anything. Wild day, Zach. That is correct. Very wild day, brother. We rock the vibe. Do a little bit of red for the jump. Yo, Pet, what's up, man? Zach, obviously, what's up? Louder Milk Guy, Luke? I don't even know what the heck that is, brother. Yeah, Cuba, how you doing? Welcome. Yeah, we're back, baby. Crazy day. Got to start the stream off a little crazy as well. Good to see you guys. Crazy stuff going on around the world, man. I gotta remember how to do this. Oh man, crazy stuff been going on here too as well. Trying to keep up with everything. We had a massive hurricane come through the U.S. We had our Middle East get attacked today. Iran attacking Israel. Crazy news. Crazy volatility. VIX over 20 again. WW3 loading, and we are having a party. Right? You know what? Gotta go out in style. Let's pray that's not a thing. No WW3. No WW3. Unless it's WW3 backwards, which means E. Get some WWE instead. We'll do that. Even though I've never really watched WWE, but I'd rather have that than what you just said. But man, so tonight, retaliation potentially happening. We'll kind of keep up to date with what's going on. But hold up, I gotta get my epidemic going on, and we'll kind of dive into these charts. But S&P right now trying to bounce off these lows. We had Bitcoin on the daily here coming off, man, that high node that we were watching to see if it would increase and run 67. Remember, we were mega bullish over that 67K if we could get it. We did not, which is kind of a bummer. But, things happen around the world that affect the market in many ways. Crazy news week on the U.S. side, and we'll get into that here shortly as well. But appreciate everybody joining up. Anonymous, you do not need a TradingView subscription. I think TradingView free allows two indicators per chart, and you can use two of the indicators. A lot of people just use one or two. I honestly use all three of them, and you'll see the way I use them here, with Bitcoin and everything. But just really up to you. I use only specific features though per indicator. So, if you want to get like the base layer, just so you can have all three indicators, that's a good way to do it as well. But we are ready to go, my friends. It's time. Your boy has a bit of a cough, so hopefully it's not too annoying for you. But you know what? Bitcoin is coming down, so we got to stream. We got to make a stream, man. XRP having a nice balance. Again, XRP is worthless until it hits $1 again, brother. I'm sorry. It's worthless until it hits $1 again. So that's just something you're going to have to wait for until we start talking about XRP again. Again, though, BK, who's normally in here and is the main man that runs the Twitter, actually lives in Asheville. The poor guy moved there literally a week before this hurricane came through Asheville. So pray for him. The man's been going through survivor mode, trying to make his way back to the streams and on the Twitter. So please bear with us on the Twitter as we haven't been posting as many updates and market conditions as we can or we usually do. So we will be back on that hopefully within the next week or so. But I'm in Tennessee. We did get affected, but I'm Middle Tennessee, so it was mostly just rain for me. But East Tennessee got hit pretty hard, so not too great. But we're all trying to recover through. Just BK though a lot worse, so pray for him if you can. But I've been talking to him, so he's been trying to bounce back. So we're getting there. A few of our Luxago team members got hit pretty hard. Another one was in Florida. But man, you know what? You can't. There's not much you can do when it's a hurricane that you can't stop. So it's you gotta just bear with it and you do with it as you can. All right. That being said, though, Bitcoin and the rest of the markets are down quite aggressive today. 2%. Yesterday, Bitcoin ran a similar price move. It was around 3% there. So about 5% on this current move. It's crazy. September closes yesterday. If we go to the monthly chart, very, very green, which is really nice. Kind of trying to make out this monthly bull flag. Then obviously today with the news going on, that you can see that weekly candle just dropping. The nice part is the odds of this is a very, very minor upper wick. The odds of there not being an upper wick are usually pretty low. The last one I think was here. That was a long time ago. But if everything starts to change with what's going on in the Middle East, that'll pretty much affect where Bitcoin's probably going to be the rest of the week. It does have a decent gap to fill here on the weekly as well for Bitcoin, so we'll see where it's at after that. But we will touch on gold and stuff, don't worry. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. But so Bitcoin trying to fill this gap potentially. Again, this was a bigger run than anticipated, in my opinion. I did think we could have that run to 64 and then retrace to exactly where we are at 61. We discussed that before after this double kind of bottom we had here. But if you look at this swing high right now, it's not as much as I would have wanted. I would have wanted it to run up high enough to maybe retrace about 50% of this entire move. But the 50% is literally sitting down here on 60K, which is okay. Not a huge fan of that. That was such a big move. 60, or was that 26% there? But again, you got your 50% lining up almost at 60K there. So it could be a nice little area to pull back to and see how it wants to hold after it's made a few gaps to the upside as we've recovered these lows. But we're going to see in a broader stance here in a minute what we think Bitcoin could do in the upcoming weeks. The biggest concern, obviously, is the war going on in the Middle East and how the U.S. as well kind of is involved in that. And as you can see, the NASDAQ's actually kind of recovered half of its loss already today, only down 1%. It was down 2% earlier today. It has a 500-point swing today. From high to low, man, 514 points roughly. So it was aggressively to the downside. ES as well, making a nice recovery back. So we'll see how it does going into tomorrow, but we'll get into that here in a bit. But besides that, again, this is a pretty heavy news week, by the way. So we had the job openings report today. Another reason why the market is down. It was 8.04 million forecasted that was actual versus the forecast 7.64. That made the dollar jump quite a bit, as well as, obviously when the dollar jumps, usually the main market caps do kind of fall off a bit. But we've recovered quite nicely today. So besides the war, that was the other major report, was jobs today. And the rest of this week that we have to be worried about is on Wednesday, we have ADP non-farm change for September change at 8:15 a.m. That honestly, I should have changed that. I had to do the calendar this week, so I'm not used to this, but still a hot take to consider. We got inventories for the oil. Again, crude oil major run today up. I think it was 3% because of the Iran deal in the Middle East, and all of oil companies have been skyrocketing. We do have Nike earnings after hours today, by the way, if those of you know about Nike. But ADP tomorrow at 8:15 a.m. But then Thursday and Friday is pretty important. We got the global services PMI and non-manufacturing PMI on Thursday. And then the biggest number of the week is non-farm payroll on Friday. So NFP Fridays, y'all know the drill. That's a huge end of the unemployment rate. There's a huge report coming out on Friday. So really be prepared Friday morning for some volatility, potentially bouncing back, potentially, just dropping. Who knows? We're going to wait and see on Friday to see if the market wants to hold or not. So that's kind of what we're going to be anticipating. Even after this major sell-off, it's quite interesting to see the market bounce already. So we'll see what it does into the next week. But for now, the main thing we're going to be watching, obviously, is in this stream, it's going to be crypto. We're going to be going over crypto a lot for this stream. We haven't done a crypto stream, I think, since, I don't know if last Thursday. No. Last Wednesday, I think. Something like that. We're trying to do 2 crypto streams a week and 2 futures trading streams a week. Really depends what's going on with me, because as of now, it's just been hard with BK being out due to the hurricane, and then me having a 3-month-old that's a lot different than our 2-year-old. So it's been an interesting little journey for us. But hopefully when she's about 6-7 months and she's more in tune with her schedule, it'll be easier for me to stream more frequently and on certain times. But that being said, we're here and we're ready to go. Let's dive into Bitcoin again at a bigger chart formation. Now, those of you that know, I've been loving this money flow profile. I think it's one of the greatest indicators that we have ever created. And the best part, it's completely free. This is the money flow profile. Again, if you like what you see right now, go ahead and check it out at luxago.com/library. Just search money flow profile. It's an incredible indicator. Gives you these pretty key volume levels. Now, I have certain settings here that I like a lot, but heat map transparency, I have that on. I put it at 95, and I put the high volume node threshold at 70%. That way you can get mostly just the difference between high volume nodes and low volume nodes. That's pretty much the biggest, the best way I go about it. And you know what? I just thought of something. Give me 1 second. Nice. Yeah, one more thing. Sorry. Bear with me. 1 sec. There we go. All right. Let's get to it. All right. Yeah, so here is Bitcoin on the daily. Now, we've been in this very aggressive daily range, right? We've retested these reversal zones and bounced quite nicely off of them, which is really nice to see. We want to make sure that if we're in consolidation, we're treating those reversal zones properly, and we have been. So in this case right now, we are kind of coming off of after breaking this swing structure, which is fine. Like we said already, and we've plotted already, we talked about how from this current swing point, I would have liked to see this up a little bit more, maybe around this 60,500. Not a huge deal that we're turning over where we're at, because this is more news-based than anything. So we could easily bounce back if needed. But again, we had 2 forms of bullish divergence. We had one that played out here, and now one that's already played out as well. It's fully extended up there and had that sell off yesterday. So again, it extended to the other side. It was a pretty decent call out. This one happened to go off of this candle. So from that high to extended period, it was about 15% move, which is pretty awesome. But now, as you can see, notice here, as we've been setting lower lows, lower highs, lower low, double bottom pretty much, lower high. So now we've just set our first higher high. So this is a good sign for the Bitcoin potential mover into the end of the year. And of course, it's the election year as well. We've talked about that on stream here, and we can go over it again in a little bit. But we've also noticed that the money flow profile is starting, or money flow, sorry, on the oscillator is starting to turn bullish as well. And it's been bullish a little bit more aggressively than it has before. Before, it's just been small little up runs. Now we've actually held above that 50 level. So we'll see kind of how it goes here. Maybe if we get a nice turning point to above that 50 level to get us kind of moving up a little better, hopefully. So if we can get a nice turning point anywhere above the 50 somewhere or on this current retracement, we could potentially have a really nice move ahead. So I'm praying we can get something real good. Nice little bounce back somewhere above 60K would be nice. But in this current move right now, man, 2 days wiping out. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Around 9, 10, around 10 days of bullish price action, taking 2 days to knock it out. But that's what war will do to you, right? So obviously we know that with war comes gold, right? Gold ripping today. There's a lot of things you can trade to kind of balance out your profile. War usually pumps gold and oil. Oil today, as you know, if you trade CL 3%, I was at once, I think at 5% today. Yep, 5% at the high pretty much, which is crazy for crude oil. So crazy fluctuations today on crude oil and gold. Nice little rally back, but gold's been in such a mega uptrend recently. It's hard to, sit here and be like, okay, gold is going to go lower. It's really hard to say that gold's going to go lower in this mega trend that it's been in. But, sorry, I have a cough and I'm a little stuffed up, so we're going to go as we can. But in this current formation, give me 1 second. Let me get rid of these. You know what? Take off these. No, sorry. The fair value gaps on the current one. There you go. Bitcoin. Let's go back. So Bitcoin, we're going to drive over to that weekly chart. So the weekly, remember, like we said, there's not really an upper wick yet. It is following this trend here on the weekly chart. So it has rejected that quite nicely. This little sell-off's a little bit different, obviously, because of the news versus just price action. We really thought we might get that break this week. It was a nice closure, but I do like that there's not an upper wick. I mean, there's barely an upper wick. I do think if anything, and all goes well, we might actually get a nice bounce back there. Look at this high volume, not high volume node, but high sentiment here. All bear sentiment at 65,662. Another insane level there. 65,662 is like right here. So that when we bought into that zone, it just immediately rejected it. I wonder if it was there before. Was it? Maybe not. Yeah, it was. Wow. Right into that zone there. It's just telling you high sentiment. This is a money flow profile. High bear sentiment at that price level on the weekly. And that just drills today. That's crazy. But we're kind of filling this weekly gap too on the downside, which can, it's not always great to leave gaps behind. We pretty much have filled this lower gap down here that it went for. It bounced nicely. Now the weekly here is already trying to bounce as well. Us on the weekly here, we've been waiting for a while to break out of this bull flag. So the current bull flag scenario here, right, is the fact that it's touched so many times now. So in this case, we need to get potentially a higher low on 60K and run that high. But the biggest thing that comes from this overall weekly here is that monthly chart. So if we go, back to the monthly chart and talk about how this last election in 2020 had this major, had a red September. We didn't have a red September, but it had a very bullish October. October, obviously, on Bitcoin isn't starting out very nicely. But at this current spot right here, if we could get maybe a nice green close on October, or if it could close, anywhere above 60K, maybe we get that move in November and December. So that's kind of the interesting part is, remember, the last election into the end of the year, we had, through the end of the year, a 170% move there, right? From open to close, from open of October into the close of December. But we also, after that, ran for another 400% or so. Obviously, it was 200 there. So it was another 200% after that. So it is interesting to compare this to the current halving and the current election. Obviously, if Trump does get elected this time, he's backed Bitcoin in a lot of ways, and could potentially be a really bold case for Bitcoin as well. But in this case right now, I mean, here's your monthly chart. If you look at it, it's really not that bad. We've been chopping in the 60s forever. If we're holding in that value range, it's not really a concern of mine. And we've talked about it over and over again. As you can see, these open close monthly highs here, we've held them quite nicely. So us retracing in 2 days back to this open close monthly high there, and already bouncing off that roughly 60, what is this? 61.3, 61.400 level. We're gonna see kind of how it goes the rest of the week. Now, obviously, keep your eyes on the Middle East just in case something does happen and the markets start to take a bigger turn. But the biggest thing right now for price to potentially recover is seeing if it can fill this full gap right here. So if we can fill that monthly or weekly gap there, I think we'll be kind of solid. So we'll kind of wait to see if it can, and then make its potential bounce back. So on the daily, though, as you know, we wanted to get inside this high volume node. We did. We were hoping we could run and close over 67 on a daily chart. We got a high of 66,550, so we're very close. But right now, I'd be watching for at least maybe a pull to the bottom of the node, which would be 60,600-ish. The low of this was 61,000. So there is a potential move to the downside a little bit more. But if we go to the 4 hour, this is the lovely part about having the reversal zones. As you can see here, we kind of stretched out these reversal zones and then now have pulled back right into this current downside reversal zone. The last time we touched it was here, right? Last time we had a full pullback into it was there. Had a really nice rally after the last time we touched the reversal zone. Now, usually for me to be a little bit more bullish on these reversal zones, or let's just say bearish, or a direction, is if you get a potential order block overlap with them. The problem is we do have a nice high volume node at 57,857 down here with a 4 hour order block as well. If things get a little crazy on the news front, and we start seeing really aggressive selling, that's the downside I would target, is 58. I'm not going to say that's going to happen. I don't really, in the current technical analysis standpoint on Bitcoin, I think we get a bounce in the low 60s, right off 60K, if anything, and then a retest 63-ish on this 4 hour node here before we consider any more downside. But if things did get a little crazy, that's what I'd be targeting, is 58. We pulled right to this high volume level that we see here on the money flow profile. So as you know, though, right now, here's this other box. So if it gets to this zone here, obviously you can see it's still a 1 billion volume level. So it's still a pretty high volume level there. It's not a it is a high volume level with it when it's kind of in these black here, because I have my settings changed a bit. But if I were to take this down to like 55, you should see it picks up yellow there a little bit. Yeah. So if it does pull back, you might see some buys in this little range here from obviously 59,500 up to 60,600. So it's about that 1K range there, right around 60K. So that's possible if it does make a full pullback. But right now, you're already starting to see the 4 hour candle potentially closing over the last 4 hour low, which is 61,762. It's a good sign for a potential bounce. But on the daily here, I like this high that goes right inside that massive buy zone that we talked about. At 60,531 would be really clean there for this consolidation, potentially bounce. The current slope sadly did break, but again, that was a very aggressive slope. So in this case right now, we'll see if it can potentially hold up and give us maybe a turning point above the 50 there on the Bitcoin daily chart. So we'll see where we're at before we continue, lower or potentially higher. I want to see a confirmation day. We need something to bounce nicely, so we'll go from there. But that's pretty much Bitcoin for now. Let's jump over to Solana, my Solana fiends. I didn't see, Brad, what's up? I didn't see if what's his name was in here yet, but we did have, again, if you guys don't recall,
who's your daddy?
We literally talked in the last stream a run to 160. We're talking about this open close high on the daily time frame. This was the level we wanted to see it at least go retest before considering any potential pullback. And we got that almost, or honestly to the penny. So two things: we pull current swing structure from its last low there, which I need to pull up one here. Sorry. We can see right now it is at the 50% retracement mark. If I pull it to this low as well, it is almost bounced directly off 50%, which is the 140s. Now, you know me, I did discuss the idea of, again, this has been here this whole time, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Yep. So there's that high volume node. All buys, right? We break through it, right? We go up, retest a swing high there. We come right back down, and we're testing it again today. We've tested that node. The node is pretty much, just think of it as a massive magnet. It's here to pull back and forth. It's here to pull price, especially during consolidation. That's where a majority of the volume is. Notice up here, majority of the side was sells. Majority right here in the 40s is buys. So that's what that high volume node is. We're above it, and we're showing a lot of buys right here in the 40s. Now, if you don't recall, we talked about how the 40s were the kind of key point here if we were to kind of top out up there in the 160 spot, which we did obviously again. So watching to see if it can potentially bounce and hold around the 40s here to continue its current trend. If you go to the wow, I forgot about that too. We had a perfect bullish divergence triggered. Now, this is the ideal bullish divergence. If you see this on a higher time frame, buckle up because you're about to have a good time. You have, first off, you have a nice gap with multiple swing points in between. So you have a low here, you have swing points here, right? Swing here, comes back down, and then gives you a gap right here. That's what I call gap divergence. You have a nice little gap between those two lows, right? Price tried to retaliate, didn't happen. Now what's happening is price had to come back down lower potentially to grab some more buyers before it wanted to rally again. Now, if you get that clean gap divergence happening as well and on the oscillator, and it prints divergence there on the oscillator matrix, as you can see here, that right there is a very strong sign that price really just wanted to find more buyers before it wanted to rally higher. From the close of that candle, when it printed bullish divergence, we just had a 24% run. That was $31 per coin there on Solana. So something to always look out for is bullish divergence. One of my favorite things to see here on the oscillator matrix. Now, we haven't fully made a swing high now. So do we bounce off of the 143s? That's potential here. We're just watching the 140s in my opinion, because obviously you can see this is the peak volume of this current range here. So if price could kind of hold above that level again, I would still consider it bullish, and then maybe rally through 160 if it's possible. Again, 174.37 is that weekly level I've been watching like always, and I would continue to want to watch for an upside target again. But if we break through 136.5 then, or 137-ish, right around there, we can start considering that 121 for the 100th time that we've bought off of. Every single time I tell you that when it touches 121, I always buy some. It's just been such a good player for a long time. So massive, appreciate that crush. Thanks for joining up, guys. Sorry, you can tell I'm stuffed up. I'm gonna blow my nose real quick. So just give me 1 second. All right, we are back. Much better. I'm gonna have to maybe blow my nose a few times for after we go over a whole thing. All right. Now, for Solana, like we said, 136.50 could be that downside target if it wants to continue. But I think it can bounce here in 140s like it already has, since it's already kind of played out this downswing. So that's a very temporary upswing, I think. So we need to see kind of how it holds here in the 40s and then go from there. What's nice is this did squeeze down lower. So, I think we'll have some trouble around 174 again, but we've been there a million times. Let's just see if we can get there. You can see there's some decent volume up there in this range. It doesn't get to low volume until you get above like 186. So right there you can see this level here. It usually just rips through. So if it's ever going to break these highs, it should rip right to like 170. So be ready for that if it breaks out of the low 160s. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's go over gold. For my gold fans, gold real quick. Obviously, this is a great hedge to overall there being a war. On the 4 hour, though, there's still potential for a lower high if things don't go, start ramping up. Dude, I can't handle this. My freaking nose. If things start ramping up, but I mean, look at this. This is a 4 hour. Right? Let's go back up bar. we are aggressively selling, right? We're like, okay, gold's finally want to trade back a little bit. But you can see here, for some reason, there's this massive, the only other one's down here. This one's at 50. Look at this. The majority of the volume there was 54%. That's why there's a percentage there. Okay. 19 down there, even though 19% was bulls. Here it was 54%, even though the volume's not as strong. Let's see what happens here. First off, dives right into it, right? Closes back over. If you ever see a doji like that, you better just hit the buy button about 200 times, right? Like this. Then you get like 1100, right? Because more than likely, it's going to make its reversal right back every single time it closes over that. So obviously, it made a touch again to that zone. It fully filled it as well, right? Fully filled it as well. It's like, if this zone's going to fully hold here from the low of it being like, I don't know, what was that? 26.26 all the way up to 26.33. Price dives into it, closes back over it, and now it's just absolutely ripping, right? You'd be up, about 1,100 of it, you'd be up 26K. Wow. But again, though, that's insane there. That nice little closure back up off of this. At the time it was 55%, I think, when it dove into the. But again, just another reason to watch that sentiment, especially when it's very high. Jockey looks like the old show's back. I wish, man. I wish it was. My daughter's still a little too young for me to predict what's gonna happen. So it's like once she gets around 6 months old, it'll be a little bit better. So we'll wait till she's a little bit older, and then we'll have more consistent streams. But in this case, beautiful bounce off that. Honestly, on the daily, this daily structure is really good. Two candle down, 2 candle pullback, 1 candle up to take out the entire pullback. Very, very bullish price action there. I wouldn't be surprised if we break through that high, especially if something happens tonight. If we see some retaliation there in the Middle East, and the battle continues, we'll probably see gold through another high here soon. So crazy, man. You can buy every dip and pretty much be profitable here on gold, so long as you're not over leveraged. But crazy moves on gold. I wouldn't be too worried about this thing not going to set a new high here soon. But if it does it, I would just watch maybe like 2670, 2680 be an upside target for rejection. Maybe it's been running so much, it's not really worth even looking for a short on this thing. So I wouldn't even worry about it. But man, nice moves on gold. What is it to cut on this? That is the money flow profile. Again, that one's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to luxalgo.com. Either click library or search library. Okay. And then you go to up here, money flow profile. Click that. And there it is. Boom, right there. So click this, see details. Literally probably my favorite free indicator that we have, besides maybe like the smart money concepts. But one of the best free indicators ever made. I freaking love this thing. But there you go again. Here's the NQ today. Come on. Volume screams everything, right? This is where it's a little bit different, though, guys. So notice here, there's a lot of, it says majority sellers, right? I wouldn't always say that, people are going to resell these areas or whatever. I'm mostly focused on the volume because it comes down to reaction at the end of the day. Now, my reaction from this level down is going to be sells, right? And it was. You had nothing but sells today. It finally bounced, right? We finally got the bounce back. But my now target is going to be that peak node down there, 36 billion in volume there on the NQ. So with that in mind, I can plot that here on the 4 hour, and I can go to like a 15-minute chart here. And then when it's me knowing this morning, right? With me knowing that down here there's a 4 hour high volume node, right? That could have been my overall downside target if I bias the downside. Now, in my opinion, if you look at the 1 hour, right? If you look at the 1 hour here at open, this is what I see, right? We have no volume up here, right? So what's going to have to happen is, first off, what happened? we already had a swing high. Swing high happened last night. It dipped and rallied. Swing high happened again last night. We set a lower high before the bell even opened this morning, right? The bell opens and then just completely dumps, right? The odds, sorry, let me just go back one more. Right now as well, what else we see? We see that the highest volume right now, we're sitting at the top of the high volume node on the 15-minute, or on the 1 hour, sorry. The highest volume for the day, or for all the overnight session where all the liquidity was, is all down here. Your odds of it dumping or selling into this area are very high. So I wouldn't be, thinking bullish at the bell unless it broke bullish structure. You had right here, I could go to my price action concepts indicator. Here's a 1 hour too. I can go to my price action concepts indicator, right? I could go to, where is it? I think it's up here. Show swing high / low, right? So you had a higher high, a higher low, and then this here, you'll see in just a minute, is going to print a lower high right there. Boom. So the minute, though, you need to identify that before it even happens, right? Either way, you already had your higher high, and this could not break that higher high, right? I wouldn't even consider that a higher low, but it is. But in this case, that higher high did not break in the morning. It rejected, came right back down to VWAP. And then all the volume, and again, this order block was sitting down here on the 4 hour, right? The blue blocks are 4 hour order blocks. We had an order block sitting all the way down here. Nothing was up here other than this one way up here at 21K, which would have hit if this day would have held trend. Didn't, right? You had that swing high. Swing high already happened. Lower high, another lower high. Everything's pointing to the downside. All the volume is on the downside. That's been traded. Again, odds this morning to the move to the downside was way greater, and we ended up getting literally the biggest candle move ever right to that downside order block. Now, in this case, once we've taken out all of these high volume levels, we get into the low volume state again, right? And what I can do now, as well as I can stretch this out now to 500 bars if I want to on a 1 hour time frame. And we can see next target would have been down here 19,712. Now, we know we have that 4 hour high volume node right here, right? That we drew earlier. There's that 4 hour high volume node. That's the first thing I would be targeting, because what else do we see here? We see nothing but on the hourly, a 42% in buys there on the 1 hour high volume node, right? Or sorry, the 1 hour money flow profile. And then we have a 4 hour high volume node. That's what that yellow box is there from the 4 hour time frame. So if I were to just take this back to now 200, let's see if that was there still. It's not, because it doesn't pull these bars back here. So if I go now to the 4 hour, we can see we have this high volume node, and this one's saying that it's 8% sellers. But if I go to that 1 hour to dive in there and I increase the amount, again, look at that reject there, by the way. It literally just dumps right into that 4 hour node to the downside, because that's where the volume is sitting on the 4 hour. So again, all of everything on every chart was pointing to that 4 hour node. Now that we've set that swing point on the 4 hour to the downside here, right? We've set it down here on the 4 hour that we bounce off of it. So long as the 1 hour can hold up on this order block, give me some type of bullish structure, we can start targeting a potential move back, potentially back to these highs, if that volume kind of continues to accumulate right here around the 20K mark. So that's what I love to use about it. Honestly, the other nice thing is you have that reversal zone down here. The other big thing is, like, if we look at like a daily time frame here, you can notice on this current string, the swing low to swing high here, we do have the 50% sitting down here at 19,500. So we'll see if we can get, potentially down to that area. But for now, I would really want to see if we could maybe come retest 19,700, 19,800. It pretty much did today. But overall, I mean, again, follow the volume. The volume is pretty much key here. 15-minute and the 1 hour, I like to use the most on intraday. And we do post it. I personally posted on my posted on my personal profile. Again, this morning, my personal Twitter is @indicatorswork. if you don't think indicators work, you're probably using them wrong. But again, just type in at indicators work. But I do post this analysis every morning. As you can see here, this is this morning's chart. Let's do before and after. Here's before and after from this morning. Right? Before here. This was the idea. All right? I either want to see it right to this node and show reaction. Again, first off, we need to see if there's reaction. Otherwise, we were going right down for 20,100. We literally just tanked right down to 20,100. We went lower than that, but that was my target for the day. All it took was one small little short entry to lock in that 3K run, that 3K profit to the downside there, because all the odds were stacked to the downside. Now, if we would have had an upside candle at open, it would have closed, been somewhere around 20,300, right? I would have taken a loss right up there when it would have retested that previous swing high. Now, how do we know whether or not we want to go short at open? Well, the biggest thing is, how's it trading? Where is it trading at open, right? Where's VWAP? If we go right here, this is 8 o'clock. Here's 8:15, right? We're trading well below VWAP here at open. We just entered this entire node here. See this box of volume? We just entered this box of volume. Now, again, we already know the higher time frames. We like it to at least go down, retest, 20,200-ish, right? We're below VWAP. The minute we're below VWAP, right, even on a 5-minute here, all I'm thinking is, okay, this thing's going to freaking dump. At least maybe to this 5-minute, 20,200, right? I mean, this thing goes up. If we're going to pull up the 1 minute, right? Here's your 1 minute again. All right, 1 minute open here, 8:30. Price literally almost tries to fill this entire node itself, right? And then literally after it rejects it for the first time, what else do we see? Right, so 1 minute, we've broken this low, right? What else do we see? Broken this low here, right? And we also have a really nice bear flag. So bear flag breaks 1 minute and then just dumps. Either way, guys, more than likely when I go into the morning, if I see on the 15-minute we're below VWAP and I see the high volume nodes sitting down there on a 1 hour chart, right? On a 1 hour and a 5, like majority volume sitting on the downside on a 1 hour or a 4 hour chart, I'm pretty much going to be leaning and betting the downside immediately, because like essentially you can get that first initial move really easily just by playing the volume a bit. And then I'll be targeting downside order blocks as well. The reason I like overlapping order blocks with reversal zones is because you'll even see here, you're starting to see a little bit of bounce back. Now I need a full bullish closure up for anything to happen. And as you can see, like that right there, here's your 4 hour completely bouncing from this early morning. Beautiful. This is the other thing that I love. Once it takes out those high volume levels, is high time frame order blocks lining up with the reversal zone. So reversal zone, as you can see down there, let me take off the money flow profile. Reversal zone right there, and a 4 hour order block right there, right? Never fully closes. The minute this 4 hour closes the minute this 1 hour closes up like that, doji, it's like this thing's ready to rip. We had a very nice bounce back already, and it's already starting to trade quite nicely as it's broken VWAP and it's still holding that node. So very, very nice bounce there today on crude oil on the reversal zone and order block overlap. We talk about that all the time. That's one of my favorite things to see. So you'll see now my time frame order blocks are blue is 4 hour order blocks. You know what I need to do? Can I do this on? I can't. Can you add a sticky note? Oh, that's cool. I thought they had one. We need a Luxalgo sticky note. That'd be great. Because what I can do is then I can add stuff. I bet you TradingView has one. Sticky notes. That's really clever. We could probably make. I want to make a good one. Either way, that way you guys can see what we're talking, what it is. 4 hour again. 4 hour is blue. That's 4 hour order blocks. 15-minute is the gold order blocks, and then the white ones are 1 hour order blocks. I like to have all those up. Now again, as you can see, sometimes they overlap, which is even better wide up here. So 19,600 could be right in that little range there. 630 down to 560 could be a nice bounce spot. So we'll see if that plays out or not. But here's your 4 hour overlap, which is awesome with the reversal zones. So major rejection though off that high volume node again. Look at how the volume got pulled there. But again, here we saw this node here. You have a gap between the nodes, and then we still have a little bit of downside. But notice this is off these highs as well here. So quite interesting seeing that there off those highs. Now, if I also were to stretch this out 500 bars, let's see if it still shows up. Again, I think 200 is it. But there you go. This got shifted there tonight or today. Off of that level, but the minute it broke through there, we started seeing some bigger moves as well. But 200 is default. That's my favorite setting on these, and it's worked very well. So we'll see how it plays out going into the rest of the week. So if you want to look more in depth on the money flow profile, again, we do have a YouTube video right now on the main YouTube channel that has a full depth breakdown of it. Or when you go to luxalgo.com/library, you search for money flow profile and you click see details, you can see the entire breakdown of how to use it and its settings and everything. Mine is a little bit different, obviously, but I talk about that on stream all the time. But appreciate all the follows if you did follow me on here. But again, major sell-off into that. And let's see where Bitcoin's at right now. So as we know, on Bitcoin, we have the bottom of this node now. The node's down here at 60,500. I would want to see it hold up into that. Let's go look at Ethereum. We haven't looked at that. I mean, oh my gosh, dude. This is insane. Bullish, again, this is what I explained before. When you get this clean of gap divergence, okay? Low, right? Here's your gap divergence. There's that blue line. Automatically triggered for you on your chart, right? Gap divergence right there. It made a low. It tried to bounce back. Didn't happen. Made a new low, right? But on the oscillator, made a higher low. When that happens, I honestly think it's 90% of the time it's gonna play out in your favor. That printed right here on this candle gave you that bullish divergence. You had a high up there of 18.67% run, $400 run here on Ethereum. Off the bat, you had a 7% run. Again, those of you that are trading leverage, 7% runs insane. So crazy bullish divergence bounce so far. But on Ethereum here on the daily, or to take this swing low to swing high here, it bounced the day off the 50% retracement, which is a good sign. There's no amount, man. There's no amount of points or whatever. All there needs to be is a significant gap, in my opinion, on both ends, right? If it's like a great example is this right here. See how this is very, very tiny and it's printing divergence down. Granted, it is divergence, but honestly, in my opinion, that high to that high is not really divergence. And you can tune it, but there's no reason to tune it, because when I see this happen, when I see these small little divergences happen, a lot of times I wait to see if it can hold that previous high, and that usually indicates that it's actually about to do a mega run. So I don't like to tweak it. But gap is more so similar to this. But notice here on this gap how this is a straight line. Even though the indicator's saying, hey, that's gap divergence. And it is. I mean, you had literally on this move here, this is where it printed. It's printed right here on this candle. You had, a 9% drop. I mean, it was a pretty aggressive drop. You would have, but again, that's angled up. It is divergence because the calculations is saying that calculated lower than this. So and with this calculating higher than that, so that is a divergence. But you want to just see it to be, use common sense, people. Use common sense. Like, look at this. This is a upwards divergence, right? Boom, boom. there and there. I'm gonna make these really dark. Hold on. Sorry. There's a very significant gap here. Significant low, significant higher low. Significant low, significant lower low. Right? And this thing, that was the bottom. I mean, my goodness. Oh, yeah. Wrong button. Off of this turning point here on Ethereum, you had your gap divergence, common sense divergence happen on this little tiny candle right there, that dot printed on this candle right here. Now, let's be honest. Like, there's your 160% run on. I mean, insane. Insane little run there. But again, it's all about using common sense when you're looking at it. You don't want to be an idiot and say, hey, you know, this thing's not gonna. I mean, the other thing too is like, how is the trend working here? Lower high, nice trend. Higher low, boom, and then makes a lower low like that, and then pops. Beautiful. And this scenario, right? That one there is too short. This one lower low. This one breaks that downwards trend here, right? And it's up. So in that case, I wouldn't take that. It needs to be clean. It needs to show really clean divergence for you to consider it. In my opinion, like, you know, this is a little bit cleaner here, but even that I wouldn't be taking. But there you go. That's clean gap divergence. That's why I call it gap divergence, because we want to see it gap off here, right? So triggered there. Nice little drop off as well. Gap divergence here, right? This one held the low, which is good. That made its run. It just got to make sense. Got to make a lot of sense. And we talk about that even on lower time frames. Just got to make sense. We talked about that on the 5-minute, 10-minute as well. Can you gauge that? No, it just needs to be, if it looks clean, that's all that matters. Syndicate, probably not, man. I don't think so. Again, though, the oscillator matrix is such a unique, like, it's the divergences are so clean, the money flow and all that is so clean. It's worth it 100% if you're looking to get an oscillator that has like okay, so for me, the oscillator is like beautiful for swing trades. If you're a swing trader, it's incredible. It's really good for low time frame too, but like, you do have to have a little bit more patience, and lower time frame does play with more so you have to have more patience waiting for an oscillator to set up. So that's why I like swing trading with an oscillator. It's a little bit better. But it really depends on what type of trader you are. Like money flow profile, I love for like day trading. Oscillator, I like it, right? I like it for trading the NQ. I love taking day trades when the NQ shows potential setups on the oscillator. But notice here, like here, that's a, you know, in this case, this gap, meh. This one, definitely, there's a decent gap there. There's actually a significant higher low here. Makes a nice little run, higher low, makes its run today through that high on the NQ. Now, you know, you would have to wait out that entire move for this thing to set up bullish divergence. When we were talking about on the 15-minute, based on our analysis for the day, we were bearish regardless, just by what the entire indicator system was telling us. So it's like one of those things where I consider I wait for bullish divergence on a reversal to be that setup, but that's just one of those things I have in the arsenal for when it does set up. So you'll know, like notice here, look, the last divergence was after hours. I don't take after hours divergences. There's no volatility. You want volatility with divergences. That's why, or you want it on a higher time frame. Last divergence we had on the NQ 5-minute, right, was this during hours here? This was not. That was after hours. This was after hours. Was this during hours? Nope, after hours. This here, that was pulling from after hours, which is not anything I would do. Here. The last one happened on last Thursday. So it takes a while for these things to play out. But look, when they do give you really clean gap divergence, and again, this is not gap divergence. Even though that flag, I mean, you can see there, very tiny move. That's not gap divergence. That's just a downtrend. You need to see it actually try and fight its way out of this downside move. Once it has, here's like it. This is, I mean, if you could write, honestly, this is a good idea. If you could write the word gap, right? in the gap, that's gap divergence. It's like if you could write that out on the line, in that space, it's probably gap divergence. That thing off of here played a mega move. Actually, we traded that one live there. We traded that one live on the 5 minute. Awesome. But again, that's the difference. Is it does take a while for you to get a clean setup, but it's always there for you to watch. Like this one, meh. I mean, you could have, I think, printed hard, but it needs to have somewhat of a like showcase that it wants to actually recover that price it just lost. Like this is like the calculations there, like the oscillator's trying to calculate it properly, but it's just not. Here you go. This is a little bit better, but again, this is after hours. This is all after hours here, so I wouldn't be taking anything after hours. After hours, that was pulling from close to open, right? So yeah, it just depends. It has to really showcase. Like here, this is a good one. All right, that's a good one. Lower high, prints there, right back to VWAP. Yes, exactly. Use them as headlights. Again, that's just something you should keep in mind when it sets up. It's not always going to give you the perfect setup. That's why that is something though I do look for on like swings on like dailies and 4 hours. I think high time frames for divergences are just incredible. Like in this case here, this little swing point down here was really clean. Waiting for that break to the upside. And then this. That was pretty clean. You got to wait for the trend to break. But it's very clear setup. Yeah, there's Dennis. Yo, bro. Where were you on the... we went over Solana earlier, brother. Now we're just kind of talking over things. It felt like we've been live way longer than an hour. Getting railed? What do you mean, dude? Your average... You look too much at your daily P&L. You gotta stop looking at your daily P&L and look at your total P&L. There's no way you're getting railed, brother. You literally said your average price was somewhere down here, I thought. You look at the minute chart. You're crazy. Here's Solana 4 hour rejecting that upper order block. But Dennis, if you don't recall, the last stream we talked about going to 160s, man. We rejected it beautifully. Look at the day. Dude. Here's the daily. Daily order block here. Daily. Watch this. You throw on the 4 hour. That was 4 hour there. Go to the 4 hour. Look at the 4 hour and daily order block overlap there. Here's the blue's 4 hour, the red is daily. Again, when these things freaking overlap with each other and they're also in a reversal zone and also show, I mean, there's your gap. Gap. All right, here you go. You have 1, gap divergence. All right. 2, 4 hour order block. 3, daily order block. All right here. Daily order block. That's 3 levels of confirmation. First off, the freaking divergence is the first trigger point, which is right here. Here's your divergence. Triggers right here. You're at a 7% downside move right now. Regardless of that, you're at a really strong key level there at 160. And you touched the reversal zone. It's like, there you go. That was 1, 2, 3, and you touched the reversal zone. That's your 4th confirmation. Insane. That's what you're looking for. Where are we going from here? Again, remember, on Solana, we went over it earlier, but we might as well do it again because I'm sure more people are here didn't see it. We're at this low end high volume node, so we're at the 40s there. So the retrace to the 40s is very clean. Also, there's that gap divergence. I can write the word gap. If you can write the word gap in there you go. That's why we'll call it gap. It's a good spot. I love me some divergence. This 40s here is really clean. There's that high volume node sitting there as well. I just got to hold in these 140s, and you'll be okay. The problem is this war going on. That's the problem. Sorry, guys. But let's take it to you guys. What do you guys want to see? Any crypto or stocks or anything like that you guys want to look at? Let me know. I mean, it's gonna depend on how the U.S. retaliates as well. So, how's the U.S. gonna be involved in this? That's the big concern right now. Bitcoin's super clean though. I mean, it did break structure to the downside. I want to see if it holds up. So market's closed now. Yeah, market just closed. NQ closes only down 1%, 1.26%. Right above 20K though. That was a nice close. They're trying to close above 20. What is it bouncing? High volume node, 15 minute. Major gap there. Major player. Look at that 50% retracement and bullish imbalance bounce after fully extended in the reversal zone. But even better, all right, purple. Sorry. Yeah, boy's a little sick. We go to the 1 hour. Hey, when that happens. The 1 hour still has this order block here. We can make it a breaker, right? Because watch what happens is when you go to the 15, it shows it as a breaker block. Just because the lower time frame had a closed candle under it. I think you could fix that actually with is it average? Let's see. I don't know. Wick? Nah, Wick will definitely take it out. But there's a nice little breaker there. That's the same as the 1 hour. The 1 hour and the 4 hour should still show up there. Bam. Yeah. Goes down the 120s again? That's not going down the 120s, man. I appreciate that, man. Yo, Turtle Trading, what's up, man? How you doing? Oh, man. Your boy's tired and a little sick. It's all good. I swear my entire household has been sick for like a month. We get some blue up in here. There you go. So I have a long on Amazon right now. Great close on Amazon. But why? Why do I have a long on Amazon? I've been swinging these. So I took a swing on Amazon today. Pretty much this is a make or break level for Amazon. So as you can see here, what do we have? High volume node, right? We tagged it today. We had a reaction. Reaction as in price drilled into this high volume node and closed back up green, right? Nice doji there. So we'll be seeing how that plays out in the following weeks. This thing as well, or the following few days probably. I'll go a week or two. This as well today, when everything was tanking at the bell, right? This thing just chopped around in the 183s. I got my long somewhere around here, around 183. But looking for a push to like 190. Sorry. 190 push would be nice. I appreciate that, Turtle Trading. But biggest thing here is the fact that trend, high volume node, imbalance, right?
And then also current swing state here, 50% trade since 182. I'm going to give it down to about 182 here on this current swing. What's up, Rumble? How you doing, man? Yeah, that is a concern, but nothing too crazy. Today didn't really matter for it, so it could have already be priced in. That's the thing. This is the only stock that really held up today, like Nvidia. How did Nvidia close? Nvidia closed extremely bearish. Apple as well. Really, Amazon was the only one. Microsoft, Tesla did. Still closed right. Wow, that recovered actually quite nicely. Only stock today that's pulled back and has closed. So technical analysis front, this is a really clean spot for a potential trade. I'm already up around 10%. I should have taken an earlier expiration, but I think we had a high of like 22% today, so it was a good trade from the low. But we'll see. I want to see it just. I don't want a big move, so it could come. If I can get 100% around 188, so if it goes up to that, then I'll be happy. Look at this. Gap divergence. And there you go. Huge gap. See you, man. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate it. We're gonna be on for about another 20 minutes. Let's see, what haven't we looked at in a while? Let me get back to the crypto list that we used to look at a ton. Coin had a day. Freaking dump. Jupiter. I haven't looked at Jupiter in a hot minute. Jupiter just dumped as well. We're going to get IBIT options soon. I will be taking leaps on that. You best believe. XRP again. Please don't say chart XRP until we're above $1. We can talk about it. I know, was it ONDO? No, not ONDO. All the mining stocks. I'm trying to think. Who have we left? Can't wait to buy leaps on IBIT. What was it? It was wasn't Link. Most popular. I haven't looked at FTM in forever. What about man? Ton had its bounce, right? Oh, jeez, it got hammered today. I'm trying to think of which one has made decent rallies. Pendle. Is it Pendle? Pendle's not bad though. It is holding. Actually, trying to hold. I like the structure right now. Yeah, there's just nothing looking good. Right now, all eyes for me are on Bitcoin and Solana through the election mover, right? And we talked about it earlier on stream, but the previous election, 167% after halving, right? That September was red. It made its run. Crazy run into a new all-time high. So that's what I'll be watching going into the end of the year. Now, obviously, if something crazy, I'm not going to say World War III is going to happen, but there's a lot of issues that we have to kind of fight through that could potentially get us from having that. But maybe we're backing everything by Bitcoin. Who knows? Everything could be backed by Bitcoin. So, could be a potential mover coming, but I don't know. It's just a really nice spot we're in right now is sitting in these 60Ks. I just want us to hold that. If we can hold them, I think we'll be just fine. Silver, by the way, has been ripping as well for those of you that have been looking or trading silver. But yeah, actually, we didn't look over crude oil today. Let's do crude oil because, again, with this is obviously another thing to be trading if you have concerns with what's going on in the Middle East. Oil is big. So crude oil today, 3%, $2.50. So seeing that, guess what? So if I'm looking at this, right? Here we go. Let's take a quick gander at the chart. How I go about like a morning analysis type look. First off, let's look at the 1 hour, right? Here's our 1 hour chart, which is crazy to think. Look at that massive candle, right? Here's 1 hour chart. First off, going into the 1 hour, let's just look at before this even happened, right? What do you see? Right? This is before that pump even happened, right? This is before it even happened. We have a node, the peak volume node, sitting right up there, 12.98, right? This is 11, right? 12. So we know that all the volume, besides it being down here, is up here. We also know that price. Let me pull up the 1 hour order box. I just have to get rid of this too. We also know, right, going into today, besides the daily order block down here, which I need to just take off as well. We also know that price has done what? Price has sold off early this morning. It has bounced already and created a swing low, right? Create a swing low. So there's two things that can happen. If price gets up over 68.50, the only other place it could go is straight to this high volume node / reversal zone up here, right? So first off, price just completely rips, right? Now, if we go back to that, let's go to the 15-minute. Let's see how the 15-minute is trading. 15-minute node still up there, right? We're trading below VWAP, right? But again, we have already made a downside swing. We've already broken VWAP as well to the upside. We've just broken back down. So VWAP is going to be my determining factor right now. So 15 minutes in, right? We show a small little bounce back before market open. Again, for me, I'm waiting for market open, right? We immediately at 15 minutes before market open start showcasing a potential bull flag breakout. Now, right now, after it closing now back above VWAP at open, I'm going straight for 68 as my first target, right? 68 is the first target. That's where the volume is. We've set a swing low. 68, volume's still here. Volume didn't get pulled down here. Volume is still up here. Price is going to want to pull to that volume. So want to pull where the majority volume is. Here, all we've seen is buyers, right? 30-minute candle locks in. This thing just absolutely obliterates through that level for one. And then goes to the 1 hour. Goes, and we're not even there yet. We're not even to that node yet. So, again, we're still targeting that upside node. Right? How does price react? Price then gets to that node, prints a very large upper wick, and what happens? Completely rejects that area. I mean, volume tells the entire story. Now, what tells an even better story is when you have multiple levels of confluence, which is the reversal zones, which is the order blocks, which is the high time frame order blocks, the daily and the 4 hour. But if any of those overlap within a reversal zone, I'm mostly going to be targeting that area. Price drills up through, hits a high of what, 71.94, almost 72, and then literally just now has bounced off VWAP. So now going into this evening, right, we have fully made a swing high, right? But the node is still up here. That's the highest volume. We've already made that swing low. Now what I'm going to be looking for is, okay, hey, first off, let's go to the 1 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour. Sorry, we were already at the 1 hour. Look at the 4 hour. Now, 4 hour, the node's down here, right? We fully have traded through this node, but not entirely, right?
I now am going to say, hey, we've taken our time through this node. I'm going to be targeting like 71.43 overnight right now. We still have only a swing low. We don't have a swing high yet on a 4-hour time frame. We have the swing high here. We had a swing low here. We had a second swing low here. Right? We've had this major. This is too big of a gap divergence, but it is technically two swing lows. But again, bullish structure is here because the oscillator has broken. Gosh. Sorry. Got to pop my ears. Blech. All right. Back at 70, right? Right now, overnight, my target's to be right up here to 71.44, top of that high volume node. Now, besides that, if it continues to rally, we have a daily order block sitting up here with a low of 75.34. So I'd be going probably straight for 75. I wouldn't even worry about that. That is in a reversal zone as well. We go to the daily. What do you see? Major engulfing. And you see the entire high volume area that we're going into is now right up here. That's where I'm going. 72, 73 up here, 73, 74-ish, right? I'm going straight there. I think we go straight there. That's what I'm going to be watching for all overnight, especially with what's going on. I think the bounce is in. This is the bottom. You have a higher low already printing right now if it closes in 43 minutes here, which it should at on the oscillator. It broke out of that previous higher low there. Money flow is flipping back, potentially green. And man, do you really think we are going up in oil? In oil right now, the odds, I'm not going to say I think we're going up. All I'm saying is the odds are on the upside. So I'm going to play the odds to the upside. It's not going to 100% be perfect, right? There's no reason for me to play the downside. Even if there is a retaliation, you'll probably see gold, or you'll probably see crude oil move. I think, crude oil has been sold off for a while too. PLTR, someone just suggested. Any sort of battle, right? Retaliation or not, commodities are just going to skyrocket. So, and crude oil has been selling. I think it could make its trend back up. Now, it could also, not be as volatile maybe and trade, back up to like what's 72-ish or something. Like we could have our next daily candle be like this, right? It could be like that, where it's like not as big as this, or it could go wick high and then drop back down if something does happen. But I think your odds right now to the upside are really clean, especially with this 15-minute bouncing off VWAP there, 1 hour as well bouncing off VWAP. Overall, that looks really, really nice to potentially continue up to 72 at the very least. Okay, let's go back over PLTR stock. Obviously, this is really popular right now. All I see is, first off, mega trend on the daily. There's no reason to be bearish, in my opinion, on this. So long as it's holding this slope, you're solid. If it were to make a retracement, I would want to see it. This looks nice, actually. 50% now lines up above that previous high, right? So in that case, previous retracement, in that case, this could have extended enough, right? You've already seen consolidation. So I would want to see how it trades off. If this thing breaks below 35.71, I think it does come back, maybe give you a little bit of retrace. But otherwise, if it holds above that low there of this candle, 35.71, you'll probably see it maybe continue this trend. So that's the biggest thing. There's no nodes around, right? We go the 1 hour maybe. 1 hour majority volume sitting here. So again, we could maybe see that potential low back down. If you're talking about intraday right now, that's where that volume is. There's no other level that shows volume at all other than this. So price could consolidate more through this area as well. The hell was that? That was very loud. Oh, I think my family's here. But honestly, that's probably a good place to leave it anyway. I got to go. So I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you all tuning in. Like always, hope you have a good rest of your day. If you want our Bitcoin analysis, just go back on the stream. We went over Bitcoin pretty aggressively. So that is at the beginning of the stream. again, we're watching the 61 and 60K mark, so really, really keep an eye on that. Appreciate you all tuning in. I'll be back doing a live stream on Thursday morning, so be ready. Besides that, guys, follow me on Twitter at IndicatorsWork. Appreciate it. I post my NQ morning analysis there and some other charts. If you're not following the Lux Algo Twitter, we do keep you up to date with everything going on in the market in real time, so make sure you do that as well. Just go to X, type in Lux Algo, or just type in at Lux Algo, and you can follow us there. Make sure that you're staying up to date with everything going on in the market. We have NFP on Friday, so non-farm payroll, very important on Friday. So be ready for that. That does come out Friday. Could affect the market in a bunch of crazy ways. Volatility is crazy, right? The VIX is trading over 20 today. The VX closed at 20.46. So there's quite a bit of volatility. So just be safe. All right. But other than that, guys, I appreciate it. Please have a good rest of your day. Stay up to date and just don't screw yourself. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Talk soon. Peace.